Good afternoon on this Thursday, 18th of September 2025, and it's time to review Snowfall Season 2, Episode 4. Can't even remember what the title of this episode is, but I think the best way of reviewing this show going forward is definitely just splitting it into arcs. I mean, we have our 3 arcs split for us anyway, and I think we're going to do this episode with Teddy and his brother. We'll wrap their wee arc up, right? So, Teddy and his brother, they're hanging out, discussing Christmas. It's Christmas time. Teddy also, episode begins with him and Franklin wishing each other happy birthday, and he's like, oh, right, Franklin, meet me at this bank, and they go to the bank, but Franklin's not really too sure about putting his money in. He's like, I don't even know you, right? And he's like, well, I'm a control freak, I need to be in control, and that kind of wins over Franklin a bit. And then him and his brother, he's like, right, I'm going to go back and see Dad, you should have come. He's like, no. Teddy then reads a newspaper, he's like, fuck, I've got to go. So he heads out. Turns out that there's construction being done nearby for the upcoming Summer Olympics, and I'm thinking, it has to be bodies. So he then goes and finds out how long they're digging and when they're not digging. So what Teddy does is he goes back, enlists the help of his brother, and his brother, who's a Vietnam veteran, right, is obviously aware of the shady shit that is going on here, right? Then freaks out. I mean, it was fucking borderline a hissy fit. He's like, oh, I know that smell. He's like, they're bodies. And then he's like, oh, why are they in a suitcase? And it's like, why is this guy freaking out, man? I mean, maybe it's the fact he thought his brother wouldn't kill anybody, but at the same time, to me, this guy it wasn't really the fact that his brother done it. It was more just the fact, holy shit, I can smell 2 dead bodies, man. He starts freaking out. And then it turns out, we find out for Teddy that these are in fact Alejandro and the woman's sister. And again, this was fairly obvious, but I don't know, man, his brother just acting the way he did was a bit weird. I mean, maybe he's not used to this Teddy guy killing it. I think that was kind of what was going on, but it's like Teddy was panicking, right? You're obviously involved in some shady shit. He thought they were digging up drugs or drug money, something drug related. I mean, I guess you could say bodies are drug related in a sense, but at the same time, man, this guy just bouncing about, freaking out here about Teddy. I mean, yeah, you know what, he helped Teddy, he's seen the mission through, yada yada yada, but Jesus Christ, this guy was cool, man. He sees a body and he starts freaking out. Oh, what's going on here? Dearie me, frickin' me. Anyway, moving on from these guys. I mean, that pretty much wraps them up. They drive home with the bodies in the back. I'm actually still kind of surprised that they killed Alejandro. Being honest about it, I thought Alejandro was going to last a few seasons. Pretty good character. And this episode as well is called Jingle Bell Rock. Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell rockin'. Sissy arrives at the hospital. ALTON. He's been put there by LA's finest, that is the police, right? And turns out the guy, they're going to release him and this and that, but it's like, so is this guy got beat up by the police, right? Whatever. But who's paying for it? You can definitely see Sissy going to Franklin around about this, man. But guy's homeless, right? Looks like, why is he homeless? I mean, he's a former veteran. He fucking jobbed his family. He's homeless because he's an alcoholic. I feel zero sympathetic, or he's like a junkie alcoholic. Hell, he's probably both, right? I feel no sympathy for this guy. And the police wanting to clean up the streets for the Summer Olympics. Can you blame them? I mean, come on, man. Most people that are homeless is because of it's their own fault. Now, here there is some tragic cases where some people just literally don't have families and they were an orphan or something, they were in an orphanage, and then you just get to a certain age, bang, you're out on your own, you're out on your arse, right? Yes, I understand that, but I'm sorry, I don't overly feel sorry for this ALTON guy here, and then Sissy puts him back in their house, so well done to that. That's brilliant, isn't it? Yeah. Franklin then returns back to the cookhouse. Jerome's asleep. Louie and Leon are cooking, but they leave. Then we get like a big massive scene later on in the episode Louie essentially has enough of Jerome's shit, and Jerome's like, well, you can walk out that fucking door. And she's like, yeah, that hurt the club. That old bitch can satisfy me in more ways than you ever could. I don't know if this is true. Maybe she can, maybe she won't. But their relationship just came out of fucking thin air. Last season they were slapping the shit out of each other. Now she's away to go be with her. And we see later on in the episode that Franklin kind of pleads with her to come back. She's like, you don't have to cook anymore. You don't have to cook anymore. But yeah, it looks like Louie and Jerome are split up. Jerome's not that bothered, but when she walked out, he appeared to be a wee bit bothered. Meanwhile, the wee white kid, Rob, he gets 3 more kilos here, 3 more keys to sell because he sold the first one so well. So well done to you, son. Well done to you. And like I said earlier, they met at the bank, Franklin, with Teddy. We'll see how this goes. Franklin then gives 2 guys hazard pay and sends them off because a bunch of guys jumped them. And Peaches is like, yep, I vouched for them, that's what happened. Franklin's like, right, phone Peaches, phone your guy because we need some help. They meet with this guy, they get a bunch of guns, and they basically just arm up their entire crew. Franklin kind of getting buried by his own crew. They're like, who the fuck's that guy? And like they're all discussing amongst themselves, oh, he's the leader. And he just ain't the leader, man. You can say whatever the fuck you want, but Franklin Saint does not feel like a leader, so Jerome does the speech, and Jerome feels like a leader. Jerome lacks like the fucking basic IQ, right, to be a leader, and shit will happen. Like, shit will hit the fan with him. As we seen in the last episode, it looked like there was going to be revenge being taken, right, and that would have been bad, and that would have brought a lot of heat, but Franklin just comes... I've said it and I'll say it before. This guy just comes across as a bit of a loser. Like, I just don't get Kingpin here vibes for him. Like, Walter White, right, was never physically intimidating, right? He was a fucking high school teacher, but they did a great job over the series of building him up into this monster. I just don't see it with Franklin. I think it's almost happened too quick, his rise to the top. But yeah, they give them all guns. Jerome does a funny wee speech. We move on. Also, Louie, the whole beef started earlier because she wanted the combination to the safe to get her cut. It's like, right, okay. She's like, oh, I'm sick of it being given to me like some alliance. Well, how much do you want? I don't know the exact fucking numbers here, but who cares? Right, Lucia is in her office, and then, oh, it's the INS, the immigration group come in, right? But then Soledad fucking yells out, and she's like, right, you. The only reason you do this is because it's the only way you can get hard at night. Then the guy punches her, and then like the INS are like, oh shit, we have to go now because you could report that kind of deal, and if we don't report you, then you won't report us. But then it turns out later on in the episode that Soledad is in fact an INS agent. She's like, oh, I'm getting close, Lucia, her whole world's going to come crumbling down. At least this makes this a wee bit more interesting. If this was simply just this Pedro guy marrying this girl, oh my days, it would have been fucking tragic, wouldn't have? Seriously, man. Just fuck it. Just shit. I honestly, praise the fucking Lord, man. I'm not going to say this is the greatest thing ever, but at least there's a bit of bite here. There's a bit of payoff coming potentially. Thank you, but she met with some guy who I recognise, but I can't actually recall the actor's name. And he was walking as like Collie, and they were talking. So yeah, big Solid. Pedro's going to get his wee heart broken, but you know, also and Soledad pointed that out. They're like, you know, you just met this woman. Oh, but I love her. She found me. Yeah, you were probably in a bar, sobbing about what happened to you, speaking too much, and someone's like, here's a great opportunity to get into this guy, man, and fucking find out all this information and bring an organisation in. That's exactly what's going to happen. So Soledad's sleeping her, riding that Pedro cock, man, riding her way to the top. Brilliant. We also had, to wrap up the Oso and Lucia scenes, Lucia got a wrestling ring for this guy. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant, guys. Ain't that brilliant? There was a party as well. Claudia's nightclub. They're all enjoying themselves. Everybody's there. Who really cares, man? Kevin reveals that he took the money and he gave it to his aunt because what happened to Delroy, and Franklin's like, you can't do that. And Kevin's like, oh, you might pull the wool over everyone else's eyes, but you're a pussy, man. And Franklin's like, you know what? I'll give the green light on retaliation if you can give me 100% proof about who it was, and we can do it without bringing heat to us. So I think that's a fair enough request, and
he pretty much accepts that. You can't really dispute that, can't you? Know. And the episode ends with Franklin. He's essentially running the cook house alone. Teddy looks through a window and sees Matt making breakfast. Looks like he's not returning home. And Franklin gave his mother the Persian jade lion statue that the guy gave him at the bank earlier on, and that is pretty much the episode. So yeah, what did I think? Yeah, I don't know, man. I thought it was a bit slow considering like the offense of the last couple of episodes. It kind of just like took the sting out of it for me. But anyway, I will give it a 6 out of 10. There you go.